Roswell, The Mislanding by Isaac Petrov, Chapter 1, The Burn. The capsule vibrated like a steel drum struck by a giant. At first, it was subtle. Shivers through the hull, a tremble in the foot restraints, nothing Commander Alex Hale hadn't felt 100 times during re-entry drills. But at 108,000 feet, the tremble shifted. It became a grinding, wrenching shudder that crawled into bone.
Jesus Christ! Lisa, check pitch and roll again. That's way too much drift.
Sparks flickered outside the tiny porthole, dancing like fireflies caught in a storm. But they weren't fireflies. They were pieces of the capsule's ablative heat shield, coming off far too early.
Dr. Lisa Morante, mission specialist and physicist, clutched her harness. I'm reading tumble initiation at 3 degrees per second. That's not possible. RCS thrusters aren't responding. Alex forced his voice steady. Okay. Morgan, get me telemetry. Anything still talking? Morgan Reyes, the engineer, slapped at the console. Nothing from Houston. Nothing from TDRS. No uplink. No downlink. We're dark.
That was when Alex knew they were in real danger. Re-entry blackout was normal, but this wasn't normal. This was full-spectrum silence. No pings, no carrier waves, not even ghost noise. A capsule swung violently left. The 3 astronauts jolted sideways, straps digging into ribs.
Lisa screamed, "We're rolling! RCS is completely dead! Morgan, manual override on the thrusters! They're not firing. Something's wrong with power routing, like half the grid isn't even here. I don't fucking understand."
The capsule flipped, once, twice, then violently again. The world became an endless centrifuge of flame and darkness. Alex's teeth clacked hard enough to chip.
Liesa choked out. "We're entering plasma phase at the wrong trajectory. If we don't stabilize, we'll skip off the atmosphere like a stone." "No, we won't," Alex snapped. "We're going through."
A deep rumble built beneath them, like a freight train approaching from all directions. Heat bled into the cabin, too fast, far too fast. Morgan looked up. His face had gone pale beneath the harsh orange glow.
"Alex, the readouts are glitching. Everything's glitching. It's like the systems think we're not even in the right." He never finished the sentence. The world went white.
Silence. Absolute silence. Not the peaceful kind. This was the eerie, wrong quiet of a dead radio. Alex blinked back into consciousness, head pounding. The capsule's interior lights flickered like dying candles. He tasted iron, blood.
Status. He swallowed. "Lisa? Morgan?" Lisa coughed weakly. "Alive, I think. Everything hurts." Morgan unstrapped himself with shaking hands. "I blacked out. Did we skip or burn? Or what the hell was that?"
Alex scanned the readings. Altitude 2,100 feet. Descent rate slowing normally. External temp dropping. A normal landing. But nothing about the last 3 minutes had been normal. The capsule jerked as the drogue chutes deployed. Lisa exhaled.
"Oh, thank God." Alex didn't share the relief. Something was wrong. Something in his gut said they hadn't just come through turbulent re-entry. They had gone through something else. Something bigger.
The capsule thudded on sand, bounced, then rolled to a dusty stop. Alex checked his chronometer. They were hours off target, maybe hundreds of miles off target, but at least they were alive.
"Okay, helmets on. External mic check. Cabin pressure equalizing." Morgan toggled his visor. "Houston will already have recovery birds inbound, right? We just hold tight?" Alex hesitated. "Yeah, probably. But where the hell were the rescue beacons? The radio pings? The satellite GPS locks? The background chatter of a dozen network handshakes? Nothing. Dead silence." The hatch release clicked.
Alex pushed it open, expecting desert scrub and a recovery team in white trucks, cameras, medical staff. A dozen people with checklists and water bottles. Instead, the desert yawned empty and endless. Pale sky, red sand, no roads, no dust trails, no rotor wash, nothing. Lisa climbed out next to him. "Where the hell is everyone?" Morgan stepped onto the sand. "Okay, Maybe we came down way farther than we thought. Maybe they're still tracking. Alex raised a hand. Quiet. The sound grew louder. Not a helicopter, not a modern engine. It was the rough, uneven choke of a 1940s truck rattling over hardpack. A single dusty pickup crested the ridge. Wooden slats, rounded fenders, sun-faded paint. The driver saw them. 3 astronauts in reflective suits standing beside a space capsule, and slammed on the brakes so hard the truck slewed sideways. The man stared, jaw dropped. Then he crossed himself.
Holy Mother of God. He jumped back into the truck, floored the pedal, and tore off in the opposite direction, tires spitting sand. Morgan blinked. What the fuck was that about? Lisa turned to Alex, voice trembling.
Alex, why did he look at us like we weren't even human?
Before Alex could answer, he heard it. Engines. Multiple. Fast. Trucks. Jeeps. Dozens of them. And they were coming straight for the capsule. Dust clouds rose on the horizon, shimmering beneath the brutal sun. Alex felt the hair on his arms stand up.
Get back inside the capsule. Now! Morgan froze. Alex, what's happening?
He didn't know the full truth yet, but one thing was painfully obvious. Whoever was arriving wasn't NASA, wasn't Space Force, wasn't the recovery team. Their vehicles were too old, their tactics too aggressive, their formation too tight. Alex swallowed hard.
Morgan, Lisa, brace yourselves! The jeep slid to a stop, surrounding the capsule. Soldiers poured out, rifles raised, uniforms sun-bleached and unmistakably vintage. One shouted through a megaphone.
Step out of the craft with your hands visible. Do not attempt communication. You will be fired upon, Morgan whispered.
What year is it? Alex stared at the soldiers, the uniforms, the weapons, the insignia. Roswell Army Airfield, 1940s era. Realization stabbed him like ice.
The ISS crew had survived re-entry, but they hadn't landed on a different part of Earth. They had landed in a different time. Alex whispered, barely audible.
Oh God, we're the Roswell incident. A soldier stepped forward. Take them down! Chapter 2, Containment.
Rifles gleamed in the sun as the ring of soldiers tightened around the capsule. Their boots sank into the red sand, dozens of them, maybe more. Uniforms crisp, helmets dull and heavy-looking compared to modern gear. The insignia on their sleeves confirmed Alex's worst suspicion. Roswell Army Airfield. Mid-1940s, no doubt.
Alex murmured, "No sudden moves. Hands visible. Stay calm." Morgan swallowed. Alex, they think we're aliens. Liezo whispered back, "Can you blame them? Look at us. Visors, suits. We might as well be from Mars to them." One soldier stepped forward. Tall, square jaw, pistol drawn but steady. His voice carried the authority of a man trained to expect an enemy.
Identify yourselves, slowly.
Alex raised both hands, palms out, trying to show he wasn't hostile. Helmet speakers muffled his own voice, making it sound distorted and unnatural, even to Morgan and Lisa beside him.
"We're American astronauts. We're not hostile." The soldiers flinched. Several rifles lifted instantly. A corporal called out.
They're making sounds. Get the interpreter. Alex realized what the problem was. The suit's environmental seal distorted speech into a filtered, metallic tone. To these men, it must have sounded like alien gibberish. He lifted one hand toward the helmet release.
"Look, I'm taking off my helmet. Just wait. Shots cracked." Sand spat at their feet. Alex froze, pulse hammering.
Do not touch any part of that suit. Hands where we can see them, Lisa gasped.
"They'll kill us if we move." Morgan trembled beside her.
The lead soldier motioned, and 2 men carrying a heavy metal device approached. It looked like an early radiation counter, big, boxy, primitive. They waved it at the astronauts. It clicked rapidly. The soldiers recoiled, whispering urgently. They're radioactive. Morgan let out a humorless laugh.
"No shit. We just came from orbit."
A jeep skidded into view. A stern officer in brown-tinted sunglasses jumped out, boots crunching on sand. Major Curtis Rollins. Alex recognized the name instantly, from 100 documentaries. Rollins had been one of the key officers assigned to the Roswell investigation. This was getting bad.
"Nobody fires unless I give the order," Rollins barked. "Secure the entities." The word entities chilled Alex more than the guns. Soldiers approached with long metal poles ending in looped restraints, like oversized cattle handlers. Lieza's breath hitched.
They think we're animals. Morgan whispered, "No, they think we're not human."
The poles looped around their wrists, locking with a clack. Alex forced himself not to resist. Any sudden motion could get them killed. Rollins stepped close, examining Alex's helmet like it was a priceless artifact or a bomb.
"You will not be harmed if you cooperate. Make any attempt to flee or attack my men and we'll put you down. Understood?" Alex nodded slowly. Rollins studied the movement. Good. They understand gestures. The major turned to his men. "Transport them, all three, and secure that craft. Nobody touches anything without gloves." Inside the Humvee.
They were shoved into the back of a military vehicle. Doors slammed, locks clacked. The air inside smelled of oil, canvas, and metal. Morgan rubbed his restrained wrists, breathing fast.
Oh shit, oh shit. They're gonna dissect us, Alex. You know the stories. Autopsy tables, classified bunkers, all that. It's us. We're the fucking incident. Lisa leaned her helmet back against the metal wall, trembling. I can't believe this is happening. We have to tell them. We have to explain. Alex took a breath.
He knew something May didn't. Taking off the helmets wasn't an option. The suits still held trace chemicals from re-entry. Cleaners, contaminants, pressure differentials, and the 1940s air carried particulates that could cause chemical reactions, lung irritation, or worse. Their modern immune systems were not prepared for mid-century pathogens and dust. This desert was probably full of things their bodies had no immunity for. Removing their helmets could kill them, but not removing them could also get them killed. He weighed the risks, jaw tight.
We're not taking the helmets off yet. Not until we understand where they're taking us. Lisa whispered, "Where do you think they're taking us?"
Alex didn't want to say it, but they all were thinking the same thing. A base, a bunker, a place with metal tables and bright lights and scalpels, a place destined to become legend, the Roswell containment site. Arrival at the base. The vehicle lurched as it passed through a checkpoint. Floodlights illuminated long hangars and airstrips. Soldiers stood in lines, some staring in open terror, others with clinical curiosity. The vehicle stopped, doors yanked open, rifles pointed in.
"Bring out the entities."
They were pulled from the truck and marched across the tarmac. Inside a low concrete building, a wide metal door hissed open hydraulically. That wasn't right. Hydraulics like that didn't exist in 1947, at least not in standard military buildings. Alex frowned behind the visor. Where the hell were they? Inside, everything changed. The air was cooler, sterile. White tiles, bright surgical lights. 2 doctors in surgical gowns and cloth masks were waiting.
Alex, they've prepared a medical suite. Alex stayed steady. No one speaks. No sudden moves. Let them look. Let them conclude we're not a threat.
The soldiers forced them onto 3 metal gurneys, straps locking across their legs and arms. Not tight enough to hurt, but secure enough to prevent escape. Rollins stepped up to the viewing window. A microphone crackled.
"Entities, you will remain restrained while our medical team performs a preliminary examination. If you understand, raise your right hand." Alex lifted his hand slightly. Morgan and Lieza followed. Rollins nodded. "Proceed." The doctors moved in, tools in hand. One pointed at Alex's helmet. "Sealed, entirely sealed. Some kind of independent breathing apparatus." The other tapped on the visor. "Look at this material. Not glass, not plexi, something else." Rollins spoke through the mic again. "Attempt communication." A doctor leaned close to Alex's visor. "Can you understand my voice?" Alex nodded. The doctor jumped back slightly. They respond to gestures. Rollins frowned. Are they intelligent? Morgan snapped.
Of course we're intelligent, you dumb! The doctor stumbled back, terrified.
It spoke. My God, it spoke. Did you hear that? Rollins stiffened. Several soldiers raised their rifles at the observation glass. Morgan froze.
Then shit. Alex spoke slowly, hands raised as much as the restraints allowed. We're not aliens. We're not hostile. We're Americans. But to the doctors, the words sounded like crackling, filtered machine noise. Unintelligible, frightening. Rollins' jaw tightened.
Record everything. We'll need full containment.
Alex felt his chest tighten. Full containment meant isolation, experimentation, and eventually dissection. He had to stop this, but the straps held tight, and the soldiers were ready to shoot. The three astronauts exchanged a look: fear, disbelief, confusion. They were trapped, alive, misunderstood, hopelessly out of time. And in the next room, under harsh 1940s lights, a surgical tray clattered as someone prepared tools. Morgan whispered, voice cracking.
Alex, we're not getting out of this. We're gonna die in 1947. Alex clenched his jaw. No, we're not, because we didn't come this far to die in the wrong damn century. Chapter 3, The First Cut.
The surgical lamps over the three astronauts cast a blinding clinical glow, too bright, too sharp. 1947 America didn't have LED brilliance like this. Alex noticed. Lieza noticed. Morgan didn't. He was too busy staring at the metal tray of instruments being laid out beside him. Long scissors, curved probes, bone saw. Morgan swallowed audibly.
Alex, they're going to open us up. They're actually going to... Alex cut him off with a sharp look. Even restrained, even helpless, he needed to project calm or they were dead. No one's cutting anyone open. They're scared. That works in our favor. Panic makes people cautious. Lieza, strapped to the adjacent gurney, whispered. They won't risk damaging a specimen until they understand it. Autopsy comes later. Initial examination only. We have time, but not much.
On the other side of a thick glass window, Major Rollins watched the scene unfold with narrowed eyes. Two intelligence officers stood beside him, whispering in tight, clipped sentences. One officer pointed at the capsule through a separate window overlooking the hangar.
That craft is like nothing we've ever seen. If the Soviets built it, we're years, maybe decades behind. The other officer frowned. Or they came from somewhere else. Rollins bristled but kept watching. Inside the examination room, a doctor approached Alex with a stethoscope. Primitive, cold metal. He hesitated before pressing it against the silver of Alex's suit. Nothing, the doctor frowned. No biological readings through the material. Lieza spoke through her helmet, knowing full well they wouldn't understand.
It's polymer, multi-layered for thermal protection. You won't hear anything. But to the men in the room, her voice was distorted, metallic static.
It vocalizes. Did you hear that sound? Morgan rolled his eyes behind the visor.
Yes, Doc. It's called talking. Two soldiers stepped closer, rifles raised. Alex quickly lifted his hands as far as the restraints allowed. Universal human gesture. I'm not a threat. The doctor moved toward Morgan with a long metal probe. No, no, no! Alex? Alex snapped. Stop! His shout echoed mechanically in the visor, amplified by the helmet speakers. The doctor stumbled back, dropping the probe. The soldiers almost fired. Rollins slammed a hand onto the microphone in the observation room.
Do not fire. Not unless they try to escape.
The order saved them, but it also meant Rollins wanted them alive, for now. A breakthrough. The doctor regained his composure. Instead of approaching with tools this time, he stepped back and gestured to an assistant. The assistant retrieved a chalkboard. Alex blinked. Finally, an intelligent approach. The doctor wrote a single word, hello. He held it toward Alex. Lieza inhaled sharply. That's it. That's the bridge. Alex, show them we can communicate. Alex nodded. The doctor erased the board and held up a piece of chalk, offering it, hesitantly, in Alex's direction, but still from a distance.
Alex pointed to his restraints. The doctor glanced toward Rollins. Rollins frowned deeply, but nodded.
Loosen restraints only. If it moves unexpectedly, shoot. The soldiers unstrapped Alex's right hand. His fingers tingled with returning blood flow. Slowly, very slowly, he reached out, took the chalk, kept his movements minimal. He wrote, "I am human." The doctor stared, then shook his head. He wiped the board and wrote a new phrase. "You are not human." Morgan groaned behind his visor.
Oh, great. Logic. Fantastic. Perfect. Alex wrote again, more urgently. American. Astronaut. 2026. The doctor went still. He whispered to his assistant.
They're mimicking English, memorizing words. Very fast-learning organism. Alex closed his eyes. Lisa whispered across the room.
They're not ready. They're not going to understand time travel. They don't even understand the concept of a satellite yet. Morgan sighed. Yeah, and we're speaking through robot helmets like space demons. This is going great. Rollins makes his decision. Rollins watched the chalkboard exchange, jaw tightening.
They can understand English written language, Major. That suggests intelligence. Rollins stared at Alex's last written message, 2026. No human on Earth is from the year 2026. He turned to his men. I want the suits opened. Carefully. We need to see what's underneath. Alex's blood ran cold. He slammed his freed hand down in desperate refusal.
No, do not remove the suits. The entire room erupted in panic. Doctors backpedaled. Soldiers pressed gun barrels forward. The assistant dropped the chalkboard, the clatter echoing. Rollins hit his mic hard.
Hold! Hold! The noise died down only slightly. Rollins leaned toward the glass, eyes drilling into Alex like a scalpel. If there is something inside that suit that is hostile or infectious, the United States Army has a duty to uncover it, by force if necessary. Alex stared back, breath shaking.
We're human. Opening these suits could kill us. But the words were metallic static. Again, incomprehensible. The doctor, trembling but obedient, took a surgical shear designed for cutting metal tubing. He approached Alex's suit arm. Lisa thrashed against her restraints. Alex, stop him! Stop him! Morgan shouted. Alex, dude, fuck, do something! Alex moved fast, faster than anyone expected. He grabbed the chalkboard off the floor with his freed hand and smashed it into the metal tray of instruments. Tools flew everywhere. Doctors screamed. Soldiers surged forward. Rollins shouted,
Restrain it, now! Before the soldiers reached him, Alex scribbled one last desperate message across the fallen chalkboard, huge and forceful. If you open the suit, we die, and the diseases in your air could kill you too. The doctor froze. Rollins froze. Everyone froze. The words hit them like a slap.
Rollins slowly approached the glass. His voice was a low, controlled growl.
Explain that. Alex breathed hard. He couldn't explain with speech, not through the helmet. He pointed to the chalk, both hands visible, non-threatening. After a long hesitation, Rollins gestured sharply. Give it more chalk. A trembling assistant complied. Alex wrote, different air, different time. We die if you open suits. Rollins stared at the words, unblinking. The idea of a disease terrified the 1940s Army more than the idea of aliens. A doctor turned to Rollins, face pale. Major, if it's telling the truth, opening the suit could contaminate us with something from wherever it came from. Rollins' lips tightened. We can't risk pathogen exposure. Secure them, until we understand more. Alex sagged slightly in relief. But Rollins wasn't done. Prepare the isolation wing. Full quarantine protocol. No one enters without protective gear.
It wasn't freedom. It wasn't safety. It was the next step. Containment, study, interrogation. And in this era, interrogation meant harsh lights and rough hands. As soldiers closed in again to fully restrain Alex, Morgan whispered,
This is only step one, isn't it? Alex didn't answer. He didn't need to. They all knew. This was just the beginning of the nightmare. Chapter 4. Quarantine.
The corridor beyond the examination room was colder, darker, and built for something other than medicine. Concrete walls, no windows, pipes rattling overhead. a chill that didn't match the desert outside. Two soldiers marched Alex down the hallway, pole restraints biting into his wrists. Lisa and Morgan followed behind under separate guard, their boots scraping the floor in an unsteady rhythm.
Alex's mind raced. He needed to stay alert, read every detail, every weakness in their captor's behavior. Ahead, a sealed steel door waited. A warning stenciled on it in thick black paint. Isolation wing. Authorized personnel only. The door slid open mechanically, far too advanced for 1947. Alex stiffened.
Something was wrong. This part of the facility felt newer than the era, more advanced, hidden. Rollins stepped into view, hands clasped behind his back.
You are being held for quarantine and study. You will not be harmed unless you become a threat, Morgan muttered under his breath.
Oh, comforting. Rollins' gaze flicked toward him, reading body language, even if not the words.
Take them to their cells designed for the unnatural.
The isolation wing wasn't like a prison. It was worse. Individual containment modules lined the hallway. Thick, reinforced glass. Built-in restraints welded to metal beds. Drainage grates in the floor. Lisa shuddered.
This place was designed for something not human, Morgan whispered back. Yeah, lucky us. We qualify now. One by one, the soldiers separated them. Lieza was guided into a module on the left, Morgan into one on the right, Alex into the central chamber. The gurney restraints were replaced with metal cuffs, mounting him to the room's central chair. Arms, legs, torso. He fought the urge to resist. Too many guns. Too little leverage. The soldiers stepped out. The heavy door sealed behind them. Rollins remained on the other side of the glass, observing him like a specimen. Alex stared back. A first attempt at understanding. A speaker crackled. Rollins' voice echoed into the room.
You can read English. You respond to gestures. You communicate with symbols. Pause. Speech is mechanical. Filtered, artificial. Alex closed his eyes. Of course, the helmet distorted everything. He tried slow speech.
We are human, Rollins flinched. To him, it still sounded like a distorted radio transmission. He clicked on a microphone.
If you understand me, raise your left hand. Alex couldn't. The restraints held him down. He raised his fingers instead. Rollins observed the tiny movement. He nodded. They're intelligent, that much is certain.
He tapped on a clipboard.
Begin Phase 2. Alex's stomach twisted. Phase 2. The sensor array. Two technicians entered the room wearing rubber suits, goggles, and improvised respirators, crude but meant to mimic biohazard protection. They wheeled in a large device, a metal rig on a trolley, bristling with coils and antenna. Morgan's voice echoed faintly from the next cell.
Alex, what the hell is that thing? Lisa's voice followed, thin with dread. That looks like a prototype electromagnetic scanner. I've seen pictures. They were experimental back then. Alex tensed. He knew what came next. The technicians extended a flexible arm from the machine and positioned it inches from Alex's helmet. The hum grew. A vibration tugged at his skull. His visor flickered with static. Alex winced. Turn it off! Turn it off! This isn't safe! Rollins watched the readouts from behind the glass. The machine crackled. Lisa shouted. That machine will fry our suits. It'll breach the seals. Rollins barked through the mic.
Hold steady. Increase power slowly. Alex felt the suit warming, pressure sensors blinking red. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead.
Stop! You'll kill us! But it came out as alien static again. The machine's lights spiked. Alex jerked violently as the shock traveled through his suit's metal components. Lieza screamed from her chamber. Morgan shouted curses. The technicians panicked and cut the power. Alex slumped forward, breathing hard, suit cooling slowly. Rollins' voice returned.
Interesting response. They are sensitive to electromagnetic stimulation. Highly reactive, possibly electrical nervous systems. Alex almost laughed from the absurdity.
No, you idiot. We're wearing electronics. Of course we reacted. But all Rollins heard was more metallic distortion. Lisa panted from her chamber. They're going to kill us through ignorance. Morgan spoke through the wall, voice shaking. Alex, what if this is how the Roswell autopsy story started? What if we're the reason? Alex stared at the chamber ceiling. He didn't want to say it, but he knew.
If history remembered a dead alien, then someone wasn't making it out of this alive. A silent ally. Hours passed. Tests continued. More harmless at first. UV scans, sound tests, pressure tests. Then came the medical probes. The attempts to cut into the suit fabric. Unsuccessful, but terrifying. Eventually, the soldiers left. Even Rollins departed, retreating to a room above the containment wing. The technicians shut off the corridor lights. Only dim blue bulbs glowed in the isolation cells. Alex fought exhaustion. Then, a whisper, soft, barely audible, female, through the grate beneath his chair.
Are you from here? Alex stiffened. A civilian voice. A woman. Young. He leaned toward the grate.
I'm human. I'm American. Are you with the medical team? Applause.
No. I clean the lower halls. They told me not to come tonight, but I saw them bring you in. Another pause. I know you're not what they think. You move like people. Alex swallowed.
You have to help us. Tell someone. Tell.
I can't. They'd lock me up too. Her breath trembled. But I can tell you something. Long pause. They're calling in Washington. High command. They want to dissect you. Alex's blood went cold. Lisa whispered from her chamber.
No. Morgan slammed his shoulder against his restraints. Alex, we are fucked. Totally, absolutely fucked. Alex forced his breathing steady. Think. Focus. How long until they order? That. The voice shook.
Tomorrow, maybe the next day, they're afraid of you, and fear makes them do terrible things. Alex closed his eyes, dread spreading like ice. But the voice whispered one last thing. There's something wrong with this place, something hidden. If you find the power room, you might get out. Alex leaned closer.
How? Where is it? Before she could answer, the corridor lights snapped back on. Soldiers returning. The voice vanished. Alex straightened as the guards approached.
He now had two facts. 1, dissection was coming. 2, there was a weakness in the facility. If they were going to survive, if they were going to get home, they had to act fast before history carved them open. Chapter 5, Weak Points. The guards marched past the cells without stopping, doing little more than a head count and a quick visual inspection. No questions. No warnings. Nothing to hint they'd heard a whisper from the ducks only minutes earlier. Alex stayed perfectly still in his restraints, forcing his breathing to remain steady. Any sign he'd been speaking to someone on the outside, especially a civilian, would trigger even harsher protocols. Through the reinforced glass to his left, he caught a glimpse of Lieza watching him, her visor reflecting the corridor lights. Through the glass to his right, Morgan glared, brows lowered, eyes demanding answers. Alex gave a subtle shake of his head. Not now. When the guards were gone, silence returned, thick, heavy, suffocating. Morgan finally whispered through the air vent between their cells.
Alex, what the fuck was that? Who were you talking to? Lieza added. You said someone told you something. Tell us. Alex leaned forward as far as the restraints allowed. A woman working down here. Not military. She overheard them. Washington's calling the shots now. Dissection order soon. A beat of silence. Morgan cursed softly. I knew it. I fucking knew it. They're gonna slice us up like Friday biology practical. Lisa hissed. Morgan, stop. We need to think. Alex continued. There's a pyre room. Something hidden. She said if we find it, we might be able to escape. Lisa frowned behind her visor. This place barely looks like it belongs in the 1940s. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an experimental wing they haven't told anyone about. Alex nodded. He had noticed it too. The hydraulic doors, the electromagnetic scanner with capabilities far beyond its era. The medical-grade ventilation that didn't match 1947 engineering. Something was off. Something big.
Then came the faint hum, deep, persistent, vibrating faintly under the floor. Alex tried to feel it through the chair restraints. Lisa whispered,
That hum, it's not standard electrical. It's too uniform. More like... She hesitated. A reactor. Morgan went pale. A reactor? In 1947? No way. They don't have anything like... Lisa cut him off. They don't have anything like this whole wing. Something here isn't from this era. Alex felt a chill crawl up his spine.
if something else had fallen from the sky, if something else had been found before them, then maybe they weren't the first anomaly this base had dealt with. Rollins returns. The isolation wing lights brightened as Major Rollins strode down the corridor, two intelligence men trailing behind him. He stopped outside Alex's cell, arms crossed.
You, the one in the middle. Alex raised his head. Rollins continued. We have been examining your craft. There are materials inside it we cannot identify. Metals that do not exist in any inventory. Instruments we cannot decipher. The doctor behind Rollins added, There's a device in the cockpit with a glowing screen. It activates when touched. Morgan groaned faintly from the next cell.
That would be the tablet, Einstein. Rollins leaned closer to the glass.
That screen, it shows images of Earth, blue, with clouds, with lights across the dark side, unnatural lights. Alex froze. They'd turned on the ISS re-entry tablet. They'd seen satellite imagery. To men in 1947, that wasn't a weather display. That was sorcery. Rollins narrowed his eyes. Explain. What is that imagery? Where is that world? Are you scouts? Invasion Vanguard? Alex spoke loudly, hoping some cadence, some humanity would break through the filtered distortion.
It's Earth. Our Earth. From space. We are human. We are from the future. But the distortion made it sound alien again. Rollins stepped back, expression darkening.
It keep making that sound, that metallic warble, like a machine speaking. One of the intelligence men whispered. Maybe they're using vocal mimicking, copying the English alphabet, copying our shape. Rollins didn't dismiss the idea. Instead, he gestured toward Alex. Begin oxygen deprivation test. Alex stiffened.
What? No, absolutely not. Morgan shouted from his cell. You motherfuckers don't touch him. Lisa struggled against her restraints. Oxygen deprivation? That could kill him. The technician at Rollins' side hesitated.
Major, if the suits are sealed, altering atmosphere could destabilize. Rollins snapped. We need to know as they breathe. Begin the test. Alex's ears popped. The pressure shifted. Air grew thinner inside his helmet. He gasped. Lieza screamed through her cell.
Sup! The suit needs stable pressure. Rollins, you'll rupture it. Morgan banged his head against the glass, trying to get attention. Alex strained against the straps, vision blurring.
He tried to speak, to warn them, but the distortion swallowed his voice. Lieza kept shouting. Morgan kept swearing. Rollins simply watched. The technician's hand hovered over the dial.
Major, readings are unstable. Suit pressure is dropping. Rollins didn't blink. Hold. Alex's head swam. Lights wavered. Chest burning. Then, the machine flickered red. The technician panicked. Pressure breach imminent. I'm cutting it. Alex gasped as the environment stabilized. Air refilled the helmet. The world snapped back into focus. Rollins stared, fascinated. So, it breathes after all. Alex coughed, barely able to lift his head.
You're going to kill us. If you keep doing this. His filtered voice sounded like a dying radio. Rollins turned to leave.
Continue Phase 2 tomorrow. Phase 3 begins the day after. Lisa whispered.
Alex, what's Phase 3? Morgan answered grimly. Autopsy. A chance in the dark. The lights dimmed again. Rollins and his men left. The corridor emptied. Alex leaned forward, muscles trembling. Lieza's voice came softly through the grate. Alex, we have to get out before Phase 3. We need a plan. Morgan scoffed weakly. What plan? Look at us. Strapped to metal chairs, armed guards. They control everything. Alex exhaled. They control everything except their fear. We use that. Lisa listened carefully. Morgan too. Alex continued. Tonight, we look for patterns, weak points, guard rotations, power fluctuations, anything. He looked down toward the vent grate, toward the voice that had warned them. And we hope our friend comes back, Lisa whispered. Do you think she will? Alex stared into the dim corridor.
He didn't know, but he did know this. If they waited too long, history wouldn't remember 3 astronauts. It would remember 3 alien bodies and 1 shaking autopsy report. Chapter 6, The Girl in the Vents. Hours crawled by. No guards, no doctors, no alarms. Just the hum, that strange subterranean vibration that didn't belong in 1947. Alex forced himself to stay awake, head tilted toward the floor grate, waiting for the whisper of the only ally they had. Morgan kept muttering from the next cell, restless, anxious.
Still nothing. She's not coming back, Alex. Maybe Rollins caught her. Maybe they questioned her. Lieza answered softly. Voices carry in vents. She's probably waiting. She's scared too. Alex agreed, but fear wasn't their problem. Time was. By morning, Rollins would begin Phase 3, and in 1947, Phase 3 meant scalpels and saws and cameras with date stamps history would never show. Alex listened, and finally, a whisper.
Are you still there? Alex felt relief hit him like oxygen.
Yes, we're here. Morgan hissed. Heard anything helpful? Like where the damn exit door is? The girl hesitated.
I don't know how long I can talk. Patrols are making rounds every 30 minutes. Lieza leaned close to her grate.
What's your name? There was a pause.
Maria. Morgan exhaled.
Okay, Maria, listen. We're not monsters. We're not dangerous. We're not what they think, Maria whispered sharply.
I know that. You move like people. You breathe like people. And the sound of your voices, behind the machine noise, is human. I can hear the fear in it. Alex swallowed.
Thank you. Maria spoke quickly now, urgency in her tone.
I came back because you need to know the truth. About this place. About what they're hiding. Alex leaned closer.
Tell us. The secret beneath the base, Maria continued, voice trembling.
There's a lower level, below this wing. They don't let normal staff go down there. I only found out because I cleaned the mechanical shafts, and I heard things. Lieza's voice tightened.
Heard what, Maria? Maria hesitated.
Machines, lights, doors with no hinges, and voices. Men arguing in languages I don't know. And something else, something humming, deep, like a storm trapped underground. Alex's breath hitched. That hum. They had felt it since arriving.
Maria, what's down there? She exhaled shakily.
Something they found before you. Silence. Thick. Crushing. Morgan whispered hoarsely.
Before us? You mean another crash? Another craft? Maria didn't answer directly. Instead,
something fell months ago. Out in the desert. They buried it. Quietly. No newspapers. No stories. Only officers know. Lieza inhaled sharply.
Something fell in 1947, before the official Roswell crash date, Morgan muttered. Jesus Christ, this base already had a secret before we even arrived, Alex whispered. Maria, this lower level, could we get to it? Maria hesitated so long, Alex thought she'd left. Then,
there's a maintenance corridor, hidden behind a medical supply closet. It connects to the lower shafts, Lieza asked.
Is it guarded? Maria laughed softly, a sad, fearful sound.
No one guards vents. No one thinks something intelligent will crawl through them, Morgan whispered.
So we get into the vents, crawl to the lower level, find the power room, Alex finished the plan, and shut down the wing's lockdown system, Lieza added, and free ourselves, Maria whispered.
Be careful. If they realize what you're doing, they'll shoot you before you get 10 feet. Morgan chuckled darkly.
Good thing we're already planning to do something stupid. Alex leaned as close to the grate as possible. How do we get to the vents? We're restrained. Maria's voice softened.
I can open your locks. Alex froze. Lieza whispered.
You can? Maria replied.
I'm scared, but I don't want to see people hurt. I don't want to see those tables used. Alex's voice softened.
You're doing the right thing, Maria. Thank you. Maria swallowed audibly.
I'll come back when the guards change. 12 minutes. Her voice faded. Alex waited. Morgan breathed fast. Lisa was silent but trembling slightly. Then Morgan whispered,
Alex, something's off. That hum we hear? What if whatever's down there isn't another craft? Alex replied. Then we need to see it before Rollins does, Lisa added quietly. Because whatever it is, it might be the key to getting home. 12 minutes later, the vent opened. A pair of small hands reached through, delicate, trembling, and inserted a strange flat key into the cell's restraint locks. One by one, the metal cuffs around Alex loosened. Morgan whispered harshly, Holy shit, she's actually doing it, Lisa murmured. She's risking her life, Maria whispered urgently.
Go, now, into the vent, before. A distant alarm sounded. A low one, not triggered by them. Maria gasped. They know someone accessed the lower level. That wasn't me. Go, now. Alex lunged for the vent cover.
Morgan, Lisa, move. Morgan struggled against his half-released restraints. Lisa ripped hers free with a grunt. The lights snapped red. Maria whispered one final, desperate message.
They're coming, and whatever woke the alarms isn't human. Alex pulled himself into the vent as shouts erupted down the corridor. Seal the wing. Nobody gets out. Move, move, move. Morgan scrambled behind him. Liesa crawled after. Alex whispered back toward the vent opening.
Maria, run! Her voice trembled.
Please get away. Please don't die here. Then, the duct slammed closed. Alex pulled them deeper into darkness.
They were finally free, but now they were crawling towards something hidden, something powerful, something the U.S. Army feared so much that even whispers of it triggered alarms. And whatever it was, it had just woken up. Chapter 7, The Thing Below. The ventilation shaft was barely large enough for one person. Alex crawled first, elbows scraping metal, knees bruising against rivets and seams. Behind him came Morgan, grumbling, swearing under his breath. And then Liesa, moving carefully, controlled, disciplined even in panic. The red warning lights beyond the vent slats pulsed through the metal gridwork, painting the shafts in stuttering flashes of crimson. Soldiers stormed the corridor they'd just escaped, but the duct swallowed their footsteps into a distant rumble. Morgan whispered sharply,
Alex, where the hell are we even going? Maria said there was a maintenance corridor, but all I see is metal and dust. Alex breathed slowly, keeping his voice steady. We follow the slope downward. Vents always lead to power sources. Heat rises, airflow pushes down, Lisa added softly. And the hum is louder. That's our guide, Morgan grunted. That hum's making my bones vibrate. Feels like it's inside my f***ing skull. Lisa paused. It is stronger than before. Something changed. Alex kept crawling, but dread curled in his gut.
Something in the depths of the base was active, and Maria's warning echoed. Whatever woke the alarms isn't human. The lower shaft. The duct widened slightly, then angled sharply downward. Alex felt warm air rising from below, dry, metallic, tinged with electrical ozone. The hum grew louder. Lisa whispered,
This isn't machinery from the 40s. No generator hum is this stable. This is constant. Artificial. Designed. Morgan muttered. Designed for what? Torture? Alien disco? Alex didn't answer. The vent ended in a grill. Beyond it, a dim maintenance hall lit by flickering orange bulbs. He pressed his helmet visor to the slats.
Rusty pipes ran along the walls. Thick cables, far too modern for 1947, snaked down into the floor. A metal door at the far end glowed faintly around the edges with blue light. Morgan whispered,
Blue glow? What the hell is that? Lisa breathed out. Either a power containment field or something giving off radiation. Alex pushed gently against the grill. It popped free. He lowered himself into the hallway. Morgan dropped down with a thud. Lisa followed silently. They crept forward, crouched low, the humming vibration creeping through the soles of their boots. Alex paused. Listen. Footsteps. Slow. Careful. Not military boots. Someone's down here. Morgan tensed. Friendly or shooty? Lisa narrowed her eyes. One way to find out. The other survivor. At the far end of the corridor, a figure emerged from the shadows. Thin, trembling, in a lab coat. He was older, mid-50s maybe. Hair wild, face gaunt, eyes sunken with fear and exhaustion. Alex raised both hands in the universal sign of non-aggression. "Hey, we're not here to hurt you." The man froze. His eyes widened at the sight of their suits. He stumbled backward, hitting the wall.
No, 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 no. You're not real. You're not supposed to be active. Rollins said you were dormant. Morgan blinked.
Dormant? Us? Lieza stepped forward gently. We're not dormant. We're from elsewhere. We don't want to hurt anyone. The scientist shook violently.
Okay. I'll talk. Just stay over there. Alex nodded.
Start with your name. The man swallowed.
Dr. Joseph Halperin, Physics Division, assigned here 2 months ago. Morgan frowned.
Assigned? To what exactly? Halperin stared at them, eyes wide with haunted regret.
To the artifact. The one they found before you. Alex exchanged a sharp glance with Lisa.
Show us. Halperin shook his head violently.
No, you don't understand. We're not meant to approach it when the field is active. It reacts. It behaves. Morgan stiffened.
Behaves how? Halperin's voice dropped.
It looks like a machine, but it isn't inert. It sings. It pulses. It tries to change the room. It tries to change us. Lisa stepped closer.
Change you how? Halperin backed up further.
I don't know. It affects memory, orientation, time perception. Every instrument we use near it malfunctions. Rollins thinks it's alien. He thinks it's a prelude to your arrival. Alex's chest tightened.
This wasn't just a crashed object. This was something else. Something alive. Something temporal. Something that might have dragged their capsule through time. Halperin continued, voice cracking.
It wasn't supposed to activate yet. It reacts to proximity. Rollins believes you three are connected. He believes you're part of the same event, Morgan whispered.
Jesus Christ, what if we are? Alex stepped forward, voice steady, despite the dread building inside him. Halperin, if that artifact caused the time distortion that sent us here, it can send us back. Halperin's eyes widened.
No, it's not stable. It nearly killed us all last time they powered it. It tears at the air. It bends the lights. The hum deepened suddenly. The walls vibrated. Lieza grabbed a pipe for balance.
Alex, this isn't a generator. This is a field collapse starting. Halperin screamed.
It's waking up. Back away. Back away. Blue energy pulsed under the door at the end of the hall. The lights flickered. The air grew warm. Gravity seemed to shiver. Morgan stumbled.
Alex, what the fuck is that thing doing? Lieza shouted. Get back. It's discharging. Halperin covered his head. The corridor filled with a blinding surge of blue light. And the door at the far end exploded outward. Alex shielded his visor just in time. When the light died and the dust settled, something moved inside the chamber. Slow, shifting, wrong. Something not shaped like any craft. Something not shaped like anything built by human hands.
Something that sang in a fractured, impossible frequency. Halperin sobbed.
It's awake. God help us. The artifact is awake. Alex stared at the silhouette forming behind the settling dust. Not a machine, not quite a creature, but something that had been waiting for them. Something that recognized them. And something that would, one way or another, decide their fate. Chapter 8. The Artifact Awakens.
For a long, breathless moment, no one moved. The chamber ahead glowed with a cold, pulsing blue, like moonlight bent through water. Dust swirled lazily in the air, illuminated by flickering arcs of energy still dancing along the twisted doorframe. Halperin crouched behind a fallen cable spool, shaking uncontrollably. Morgan stood frozen, visor tilted toward the opening. Lieza's breath fogged her helmet visor in fast bursts. Alex stepped forward slowly, carefully, eyes locked on the shifting silhouette inside the room. The artifact wasn't a craft. It wasn't a device. It wasn't anything familiar. It was geometry in motion, a shape that refused to stay still. Six-sided 1 second, curved the next, folding and unfolding like a mechanical bloom. Surfaces rippled, reflecting no light at all, as if absorbing it. And underneath its movements was a faint, melodic hum, tones layered and interwoven in a pattern that felt almost purposeful. Morgan whispered,
"Jesus. Alex, what the hell is that?" Liza answered without taking her eyes off it. "If this predates us, if it was already here when we arrived, then whatever it is, it's older than 2026 technology, older than anything we know." Halperin swallowed hard.
You don't understand. It wasn't doing this before. It was dormant, completely inert. We scanned it, took samples, mapped its shape. It never reacted. Alex asked quietly.
"What changed?" Halperin pointed a trembling finger at them.
You're the change. A pull in the air. The artifact's surface rippled again, folding inward like an iris closing, then blossoming outward in a sharp, crystalline flare. A wave of pressure slammed into the corridor. Alex stumbled back a step. Morgan grabbed a hold of a pipe. Liesa grit her teeth.
"Alex, feels like gravity distortion. Localized, controlled." Alex steadied himself. "It's sensing us." The artifact rotated, smoothly, silently, and pointed a shifting facet toward the three of them. A low resonance flowed through Alex's suit. He froze.
For a split second, the world dimmed, his thoughts slowed. A cold wave washed through his chest, and he saw a flash of sky bending in a way no sky should, of the ISS floating above Earth as a crack tore through space, of a blue-white arc slicing across their capsule hull. Alex gasped, stepping backward.
It knows us. It saw us. It was there when we fell." Liesa jerked her head toward him. "You saw something?" Morgan swung toward Alex. "What do you mean it saw us?" "Alex, man, spit it out." Alex steadied himself, breathing hard. "Whatever this thing is, it was part of the distortion we hit during re-entry. It didn't just sense us arriving, it pulled us here." Halperin gasped.
You're saying this artifact brought you from the future. Alex nodded slowly.
And the artifact moved again. Shapes sliding, surfaces bending into new configurations, almost like responses. The military arrives. Liesa turned sharply.
"We have incoming," Morgan growled. "Great. Soldiers with guns behind us. Space Rubik's Cube nightmare in front of us." Alex made a fast decision. "Into the chamber. Now." Morgan balked. "Are you insane? That thing might fold us inside out," Liesa snapped. "If it brought us here, maybe it can send us back. And soldiers definitely can't." The artifact pulsed again. The corridor lights flickered violently, electric, chaotic. Halperin cried out.
Don't go near it. The last technician who touched the surface. He forgot his own name for a week. Alex grabbed Halperin by the collar.
"You know how to shut down this facility's security grid. Where's the control room?" Halperin trembled.
Beyond the artifact chamber. To the left, but you'll never make it. A burst of rifle fire from down the hall interrupted him. Rollins' voice bellowed from the corridor beyond. Seal Vallejo! Shoot anything that moves! Morgan yelled.
"That includes us. Move!" Inside the chamber, Alex shoved Halperin forward into the chamber. Liesa and Morgan followed. Inside, the artifact towered above them, 6 feet high, then 8, then shrinking again as its form rearranged. The air felt thick, heavy, charged with static, like a storm about to break.
The walls of the chamber were marked with strange burn patterns, half-melted tiles and warped metal rails. Evidence of previous energy surges, evidence of danger, but also evidence of power. Liesa approached with caution.
"I've never seen anything like it. The geometry's impossible. Some surfaces are convex, some concave, and they swap places. It's rewriting itself." Morgan swallowed hard. Yeah, well, it's rewriting my pants too. Rollins' men were getting closer. Alex stepped nearer the artifact. He lifted his hand toward the shifting surface. Lisa hissed, "Alex, don't touch." The artifact reached out first, a tendril of light, thin as a wire, bright as lightning, extended from one facet and touched Alex's visor. Alex froze. His vision flooded with images, Earth spinning fast, ISS orbiting, a crack in the sky, the re-entry capsule spiraling, a blue arc engulfing them, and an impossible sense of motion, as if time were folding like paper. He staggered back. Lisa grabbed him. Alex, talk to me," he gasped. "I know what it wants." Morgan stared at him. "What do you mean what it wants? It's a goddamn space." Kaleidoscope. Alex steadied his breathing, muscles trembling. It's not a weapon. It's not a creature. It's a temporal anchor, like a beacon. It stabilizes time around itself, and it's cycling, looking for something familiar. Lisa's eyes widened. It recognizes our capsule. It's trying to complete the same temporal loop. Morgan's jaw dropped. "You're telling me this thing didn't just drag us into the past? It's trying to send us back?" Alex nodded. Liesa whispered, "It's a return mechanism." Halperin shook violently.
If Rollins gets control of this, if he uses it, he could rewrite everything, every timeline, every possible future. Alex turned sharply toward Halperin.
"Which means we need to get to the control room. We need to shut down the containment grid. We need to reactivate the distortion cycle, and we need to get back to 2026. Morgan glanced toward the hallway, where boots thundered closer. Alex? We're running out of time." The artifact pulsed again, louder now, brighter. Lisa whispered, "If we don't act fast, it's going to blow or pull something else through." Alex clenched his fists.
Soldiers were seconds away. The artifact was awakening, and the time loop closing in.
Fire at will. Rifle bolts clicked. Alex turned to his crew.
"Run, control room, now!" Chapter 9, Corridor of Echoes.
Rifle fire exploded down the hall as Alex, Liesa, Morgan, and Halperin sprinted through the artifact chamber's far exit. Bullets smashed into the walls behind them, sparking off twisted metal fragments. Morgan shouted,
"Shit! Rollins isn't messing around!" Halperin stumbled as he ran, clutching his lab coat like it was body armor.
They're trying to shut down the artifact before it destabilizes. If they do that while the field is charged, Lisa finished grimly.
"It could collapse the entire wing." Alex didn't slow. "Move! Control room's ahead! Morgan, left!" Morgan veered left toward a heavy service door, thick steel, reinforced with bolts. A no-entry sign faded from decades of fluorescent glare. The artifact behind them screeched, a rising harmonic whine that made the air quiver. Liesa's voice cut through. "If this thing tears open again?" Alex didn't let her finish the thought. He slammed into the door's release bar. It barely budged. Morgan pushed next to him, gritting his teeth. "Come on, you bastard." Together they forced it wide enough for the four of them to slip through. Alex threw the locking lever down. Just in time, Rollins' men reached the hall.
They're inside. Blow the door, Morgan flinched.
"They're actually gonna blow it." Lisa grabbed his arm. "Then we'd better not be here when they do. Move." The Corridor of Echoes. The new hallway was narrower and unlit, except for a sickly blue glow radiating from cracks in the floor. Thin mist rose from vents set into the concrete. Halperin's voice trembled.
This corridor isn't finished. It was part of a second expansion project they canceled. The walls, sometimes they reflect sound strangely. Just stay close. Alex nodded.
That staying close wasn't easy. Something in this hallway played tricks with sound. Every footstep echoed wrong, repeating behind them 1 second, ahead the next. Liesa slowed, peering at the glowing cracks.
"This energy signature looks like the artifact's output. The field's permeating the structure." Morgan swallowed hard. "So the walls are, what, glitching?" Lisa didn't answer, because something else caught their attention. A sound. Not rifle fire, not boots. A whisper. Faint, warped, like distant radio static. Alex froze. Did you hear that? Halperin nodded shakily.
The artifact emits audio distortions when it's charging. Sometimes you hear things, voices. Morgan stiffened.
I swear to God, if this thing starts talking to me like I'm Moses. Then he stopped, because the whisper resolved. Clear. Human. Alex.
Alex's blood turned to ice. Lieza whispered.
Louder now. Morgan blanched. It was Alex. Turn back. The voice came again, louder now. Morgan blanched. Alex, that's your own voice. Alex felt his stomach clench. He stepped toward the sound, but Lieza grabbed his arm hard. Don't. Temporal echo. Halperin nodded quickly.
Yes, the artifact destabilizes nearby timelines. Sometimes it plays fragments of possible futures, possible pasts.
Do not respond.
Alex swallowed.
Right, let's keep moving. The whispers faded, but the chill remained. Approaching the control room, the corridor ended at a heavy reinforced hatch with a blinking red panel. Beside it hung a primitive intercom and a tangle of thick cables leading downward. Halperin rushed to the console.
This is the security nexus. The control panel is inside. If we can cut power to the isolation wing, we break the lockdown. But it might also drop power to the artifact containment. Everything becomes unstable. Morgan raised a brow.
So if we screw up, the building implodes and we die in a blue flash. Great! Love it. Halperin turned to Alex.
You need to get me inside. The lock needs two things, an override code and a massive surge in the side circuit to trip its failsafe. Alex pointed at the thick cables running into the wall.
That surge, we can use our suits. The power cells inside can release a controlled jolt. Lieza nodded. I can rig the release, but it has to be exact. Too much and we fry the panel. Morgan cracked his knuckles. Let me guess, we're doing this while being shot at? Alex smirked grimly. You read my mind. Breaking in. The door behind them buckled. Dust rained down from the ceiling. Lieza hissed. They used explosives. They'll be through in 30 seconds. Halperin typed furiously into the keypad.
I'm entering the override. Almost. Lieza yanked open a panel of exposed wires.
I need power from your suit, Alex. Alex pressed his gloved hand against the panel. Lieza reached for the release node. When I say now, channel everything you can spare. Morgan backed against the hatch, bracing it with his shoulder. They're close. 2 more hits and they... The hatch behind him boomed inward, and a sliver of hallway appeared. Rifle barrels. Soldiers ready. Roland's roar echoed.
Don't let them near that door, Alex shouted.
Lieza, now! Lieza slammed the node. Alex pushed the suit's power cell to its limit. The panel sparked violently. Halperin screamed.
A code is in. Go, go, go. The control hatch clicked, then swung open. Morgan dove inside first. Lieza followed. Halperin stumbled in after them. Alex grabbed the door. A bullet whistled past his helmet. Another struck the frame. Rollins shouted, "Shoot it! Shoot the machine!" Alex slammed the door shut. Lieza hit the interior lock. They were inside, barely, alive, and surrounded by the heart of the base's power system.
This was the room that could shut down the base. This was the room that could release the artifact's full cycle. This was the room that could send them home, but only if they survived what came next. Chapter 10, The Heart of the Grid. The door sealed behind them with a deep metallic thud. For the first time since breaking free of the isolation cells, the gunfire was muffled. Distant thunder behind 5 inches of reinforced steel. Alex took in the control room. It was bigger than expected. Too big. Banks of machinery lined the walls. Some primitive vacuum tube consoles straight out of the 1940s, and others distinctly not from the 1940s. Sleek metal casing. Coils glowing with soft blue light. A cylindrical device humming at a frequency that made Alex's bones vibrate. Morgan stared, stunned.
What the hell? This looks like NASA tech in a museum, smashed together with something from the future. Lieza moved quickly, inspecting a large central control panel. Her gloved fingers hovered over the analog switches. This entire wing has been retrofitted, but not by 1940s engineers. These circuits, these patterns, she paused. They're based on math no one here knows yet. Halperin flinched as sparks flared across a conduit.
They wanted to harness the artifact's energy. Rollins believed it could be the ultimate weapon, a temporal advantage, something to win wars before they started. Morgan scoffed, bitter.
Typical. Alex ignored him, eyes locked on to the central control column, a swirling glass chamber with something like ionized mist pulsing inside it. It cast shifting shadows across the room, light bending in unnatural ways.
This was the hub, the distribution nexus. If they could shut it down, the entire isolation wing, including their containment cells, would unlock. But it was also the only thing keeping the artifact from overloading and ripping another hole through time. Alex turned to Halperin.
What do we have to do? Halperin swallowed, trembling.
I can disable the wing's locks, but to give your artifact a stable field to send you back, we need to push power into the temporal loop, not shut it off. Liza stepped closer.
So we need to route power away from the isolation wing and into the artifact chamber? Halperin nodded quickly.
Yes, exactly. But the systems weren't meant to do that. They'll resist the reroute. We'll need manual overrides. Morgan raised both hands.
Which means what? Lieza glanced up at him. It means we're about to fry ourselves plugging our suits into a 1940s power grid. Morgan sighed. Of course it does. The power transfer Liza ripped the outer plate off a junction box near the main column. Sparks danced. The sound made Halperin flinch violently. Alex steadied him by the shoulder. Halperin, focus. You can do this. Halperin nodded shakily and moved to the main console, typing in sequences on a clattering mechanical keyboard.
Override, reroute circuit 3. Safety bypass. Oh god, this is unstable. Liza attached the cable from Alex's suit into the exposed junction. The suit's internal systems hummed, adjusting. Alex felt warmth spread through his arms and chest, unpleasant, like standing too close to a microwave. Morgan tapped the side of his helmet.
You okay? Alex nodded. Yeah, just don't touch anything grounded. Morgan glanced at the metal floor, the consoles, the pipes, the door. Great. Everything's grounded. Liza gave him a sharp look. Don't joke right now, Halperin shouted.
Do it. Initiate the surge. Alex exhaled, braced, and triggered the power dump. Electricity roared through the conduit. The central column erupted in swirling blue-white light. Lights flickered violently. Panels beeped. Glass cracked. The floor vibrated. Halperin screamed. It's working, but the field's unstable. Keep it steady, Liza yelled over the noise.
Alex, drop output by 4%. 4, Alex strained, forcing his suit to modulate the release. Morgan gritted his teeth. Holy shit, it's like watching Tesla fight God. The hum deepened. The artifact chamber in the next room ignited in a column of light that shot up through the ceiling. The lockdown indicators flickered red, then green, then off entirely. Liza gasped. The locks, they're down. The isolation doors are open. Halperin sagged in relief.
You've done it. You've actually... His words were drowned out by the sudden boom on the control room door. Rollins breaks through. Rowland's voice echoed from the hallway. Blow it open, now, Morgan swore.
They've got explosives. Again! Alex yanked the cable out of his suit. Light faded to a low pulse. Lieza grabbed Halperin. We need to move. Halperin nodded, shaking, pointing toward a side door.
This way! Maintenance catwalk! Shortcut back to the artifact chamber! Alex sprinted first, pushing the door open. Inside lay a metal walkway suspended above a massive chasm of pipes, cables, and pulsing power conduits. Morgan peeked down.
Jesus Christ! This looks like the inside of a nuclear reactor built by drunk toddlers. Liza shoved him forward. Move! They raced across the catwalk. Below, electricity arced between coils, illuminating the pit with flashes of blue. Behind them, Rollins' men poured into the control room, guns raised.
Shoot them! Bullets rattled along the catwalk railing. Morgan ducked.
Alex, faster! Halperin stumbled, nearly falling off the side. Alex grabbed him by the collar and hauled him back.
The artifact's chamber was visible ahead, glowing like a doorway into another world. They were close. Too close for Rollins to let them live. Another shot rang out, louder, sharper. Lisa screamed.
Alex. He spun. A bullet had grazed her shoulder plate. Her suit sparked. Morgan fired back with the only weapon he had. He ripped off a section of pipe from the catwalk and hurled it. It slammed into one of the soldiers, knocking him sideways. Bullseye! Alex dragged Lisa toward the chamber door. Come on, we're almost... Ray! Then Rollins himself stepped into the catwalk entrance, rifle raised, face twisted in rage. He snarled.
You are not leaving this timeline, he fired. Alex braced for impact, but the bullet struck the walkway support instead. Morgan yelled.
The walkway's giving way. Run! They sprinted the last 10 feet. The catwalk collapsed behind them, slamming downward into the chasm. Rollins roared in fury as he and his men were cut off. Alex shoved the artifact chamber door shut just as the walkway fell. Inside, the artifact pulsed like a living star. Lisa clutched her injured shoulder. Morgan gasped for air. Halperin fell to his knees. Alex stared at the glowing, impossible structure.
They had reached it. The thing that brought them here. The thing that could take them home. Now they just had to survive activating it. Chapter 11. Trigger Point. The artifact chamber pulsed with that impossible blue-white glow, filling the room with rippling geometric shadows. Alex felt the heat radiating off it, intense, metallic, like standing next to the heart of a reactor. The hum had changed. Before, it had been a steady vibration. Now it was pacing, rising and falling like breath. Alive. Lisa leaned against a wall, clutching her shoulder plate where the bullet had grazed it. Morgan hovered near her, breathing hard. Halperin stood a few feet from the artifact, frozen, eyes wide, both terrified and hypnotized.
It's responding to the power surge. We've destabilized the containment, but not enough to break it. It's awake enough to act, but not stable enough to aim. Alex stepped beside him.
So how do we aim it? Halperin slowly turned to him.
You don't. You pray it remembers you, and that it remembers correctly. Morgan threw his hands up.
Oh, fuck that. I am not trusting a shape-shifting cosmic egg to remember our postcode. Lisa managed a weak laugh, half delirious, half despairing. Alex ignored the panic. He stared at the artifact.
Its shifting surfaces folded in on themselves, then burst outward in fractal patterns. Each movement was precise, intentional. It felt like it saw him, recognized him, and the hum deepened again. A wave of blue light rolled through the floor. Halperin staggered back.
It's pulling energy from every line. If it overloads, it could tear the fabric of the building apart. Lieza stepped forward, breathing hard.
Alex, it's looking for a loop, the cycle. It returned to activity when we arrived. Alex frowned. Because it created the distortion that dragged us here. Morgan's visor reflected the artifact's rippling light. So it's trying to rerun the event? Lieza nodded sharply. If we can give it the right trigger, it might complete the loop. It might push us back to 2026. Halperin threw up his hands.
But the right trigger could also rip you in half, or scatter you across time, or... He stopped suddenly, staring at something behind Alex. Alex spun. Rollins has returned. The artifact chamber's side door opened with a metallic hiss. Rollins stepped in, gun raised, expression murderous. Two soldiers followed, rifles trained on Alex's team. It's over. All of you, step away from the machine. Morgan cursed under his breath. Lisa stiffened. Halperin froze like a cornered animal. Alex lifted his hands slowly.
Rollins, listen to me. Rollins cut him off.
No alien negotiation, no tricks. You're not leaving this base. You're not leaving this era. He stepped closer, rifle aimed directly at Alex's visor. Whatever you are, whatever sent you, will not corrupt this world. Not my country. Halperin tried to speak. Major, please, you don't understand the machine. If they don't go back, Rollins pivoted and shot him. Halperin collapsed, clutching his side, screaming. Lisa screamed.
No. Morgan lunged forward. Alex grabbed his arm, yanking him back behind cover. Don't! He'll shoot you next! Rollins aimed again. Breath steady, hand unmoving.
You're next. The artifact pulsed sharply, an angry vibration. Rollins flinched but kept the gun trained. The artifact's glow intensified, blinding arcs of light, curling around its shifting surfaces. Lisa whispered hoarsely.
Alex, it's reacting to him, to the violence, Morgan hissed. Make it react to US instead. Alex stepped forward, hands out, voice loud and strong. Hey, over here! Rollins swung the rifle toward him, but the artifact surged again, this time violently. A shockwave ripped through the chamber. Rollins flew backward, slamming into the wall. His soldiers crashed to the ground. Liesa and Morgan crouched behind equipment as the floor vibrated like a drum. Halperin groaned on the floor. Alex stood firm, the artifact's lights swirling around him like he was the anchor point. Recognition, Liesa's voice shook. It's locking onto you, Alex. It's pairing with your biological frequency. Morgan blinked. My dude, what frequency? He's just a guy, Liesa snapped. It dragged him through time first. He was the one conscious during the distortion. The artifact scanned him. His suit recorded it. He is the loop. Alex felt the weight of her words. He stepped closer to the artifact. Rollins groaned, trying to pull himself up. Alex raised his voice. If you send us back, the timeline heals. No Cold War advantage. No alien panic. No threat to your country. You want this world safe? Send us home. Rollins lifted his rifle again, trembling with rage.
You're lying. You're all lying. Alex ignored him. He stepped into the artifact's glow.
The room dimmed. The artifact shone brighter. The hums shifted into a harmonic Alex recognized. It was the same sound he heard during re-entry. The moment the sky cracked, Liesa shouted.
Alex! Whatever you're doing, do it now! Morgan yelled. Before Rollins shoots all of us, Rollins fired. But the bullet bent midair, curving away from the artifact's field. Rollins' eyes went wide.
No. Too late. The artifact flared, reality bending around Alex in a vortex of light and sound. And he reached upward, touching its shifting surface. Everything exploded in blue light, and time itself cracked. Chapter 12, The Spiral of Time.
Light swallowed the chamber. Blue-white tendrils spiraled around Alex, turning the air into liquid glass. The floor vibrated beneath his boots, then vanished entirely. He floated in a void of fractured geometry, shards of time rotating like slow-motion shrapnel. Liesa's voice echoed somewhere far behind him.
Alex, don't let go! Morgan's shout followed, stretched into a warped howl. Bro, what the hell is happening? Halperin's scream dissolved into static.
Alex couldn't see the chamber anymore, couldn't see Rollins, couldn't see anything he recognized. The artifact consumed everything but light. Time bent around him, images flickering like broken film frames. The ISS orbiting Earth, a burning sky, the capsule spiraling, the year 2026 flashing like a warning. Then, a farmhouse radio from 1947, rows of soldiers scrambling in the desert, a chalkboard in an isolation cell, a terrified girl whispering through a vent. He was seeing every moment at once. And the artifact's harmonic voice, if it was a voice, whispered through his mind. Home or loop. Home or loop. Anchor required. Alex clenched his fists.
Home. Send us home. The light surged. The vortex accelerated, spiraling around him in a blinding swirl. Back in the chamber.
Alex slammed back into the artifact chamber as if reality snapped him into place like a puzzle piece. He stumbled forward, gasping. The artifact's glow dimmed slightly, responding to him, waiting. Liesa grabbed his arm.
You're alive! Alex, you disappeared! Morgan stumbled toward them, half-crouched, helmet rattling. I thought you were gone, like vaporized, or folded into origami. Alex steadied himself. I saw everything, every timeline. It's giving us a choice. Halperin gasped from the floor, clutching his wound.
A choice? About what? Alex pointed at the artifact.
It needs an anchor, a stable point, someone to hold the loop so we can send the others back. Lieza's eyes widened. You mean, one of us has to stay? Morgan staggered backward. Oh, hell no. No fucking way. We all go home. All or none. Halperin shook his head.
The artifact cannot send multiple consciousnesses without a constant point in the loop. If no one remains here, if no one holds the loop stable, he swallowed. You risk shattering the timeline entirely. Alex closed his eyes. There it was, the truth buried in all the noise.
The artifact didn't just bring them to 1947. It was caught in a loop. Past, present, past. A feedback cycle, a temporal echo. Someone had to become the echo, a fixed point, a sacrifice. Liza stepped forward.
I'll do it. Alex spun. Liza, no. She lifted her chin. You have 2 kids. Morgan has parents relying on him. I'm a physicist. I understand this machine better than anyone. If one of us stays, it should be the one most able to survive this era. Morgan grabbed her arm. No, don't do that. I'm not letting you die in 1947 because of some cosmic Rubik's Cube. She met his gaze. Morgan, it's not about letting, it's about necessity. Alex clenched his jaw. No one is dying. If someone stays, they don't have to die. They just have to stay alive long enough for the loop to close. Halperin coughed violently, blood on his lips.
Staying alive in 1947 after everything Rollins has seen you do may be the same thing. Morgan balled his fists.
This is bullshit. It's all bullshit. We're not leaving anyone. Alex turned back to the artifact. The shapes inside it pulsed, slower, then faster, like it was impatient. Anchor. Choose. Alex exhaled. He knew the truth. He had felt it in the vortex. The artifact already recognized him. It had imprinted on him during re-entry, during the first distortion, during the awakening. He was the anchor point, whether he wanted to be or not. Alex stepped forward. It has to be me. Liza grabbed him. No, Alex, you can't. Morgan slammed his fist into a railing. Don't do this, Alex. I can't go home and tell your kids you stayed in goddamn 1947. Alex turned to them, voice calm but steel hard. You won't have to tell them anything, because when you get home, none of this will have happened. This entire loop will reset. Liza froze. Morgan blinked. Halperin whispered.
Yes, the loop closes, the distortion unwinds, the memory of this event collapses, the timeline corrects, except for the anchor. Morgan's voice cracked.
Alex, you can't do this. You'll be stuck here alone. Alex placed a gloved hand on Morgan's shoulder. I've survived worse than 1940s coffee and bad radio. He turned to Liza. You two go home, finish the mission, live your lives. Liza's visor fogged with emotion. You're a stubborn bastard, Alex Hale. He smiled softly. Always have been. Behind them, Rollins groaned, pulling himself to his knees.
No, you're not leaving. You're not leaving. But his words dissolved beneath the artifact's roar. Time folded inward. Space bent outward. The chamber shook, cracks racing along the walls. Liza and Morgan backed toward the artifact's transport field. Halperin crawled away, shielding his eyes. Alex stepped toward the artifact, palms open.
I'm the anchor. Take them home. The artifact pulsed, and the world tore open. Then everything went white. Chapter 13, The Return Wave.
White. Endless white. Morgan felt like he was falling through a pool of clouds, weightless, formless, his stomach suspended somewhere above his head. Liza clung to his forearm, their helmets nearly touching, her voice lost in the roaring sound that was not quite wind, not quite electricity. And Alex. Alex was a silhouette behind them, growing smaller and smaller as the distortion swallowed him. Liza reached for him.
Alex! But her glove grasped nothing. He was already dissolving into the light. Morgan tried to twist back, tried to swim against the current of air and energy sweeping them forward. No! No! Pull us back! Alex! Alex!
But Alex was gone. Not dead, just beyond reach, locked into the loop. Lisa screamed as the vortex yanked them forward. The artifact's harmonic voice reverberated around them, more coherent now. Target anchor set. Temporal loop alignment active. Displacement reverse. Morgan shouted over the roar.
Reverse? What the hell does reverse mean? Lisa's voice cracked as the vortex hit critical pitch. It means we're going back, Morgan. This is the return wave. Hold on! The world shattered and reassembled all at once. Impact.
Morgan slammed into something hard, metal hull, cabin floor, equipment rack. Pain exploded in his ribs. Lieza collapsed beside him, her visor fogging with the force of the impact, their ears filled with the familiar but impossibly familiar sound. Alex's voice echoed from memory. Re-entry commencing. Brace. Morgan blinked. Blink again. The capsule around them, it was the same capsule, the ISS return craft. The cabin lights were flickering exactly the way they had minutes, no, days ago. Lisa looked around in disoriented horror.
This is the start. This is the re-entry moment. It put us back in the sequence. Morgan's breath caught. We're home. Lisa, look! The panels! There's telemetry! Houston's pinging us! A burst of static filled the cabin, followed by a calm, controlled voice.
ISS Return 1, this is Houston Flight. We've reacquired comm. Welcome back. Telemetry clean. Please confirm crew status. Morgan's throat tightened. He slammed his helmet mic.
Houston, we're here. We're alive. Holy shit. Lisa grabbed his arm. Alex. Morgan froze. Their third seat, Alex's seat, was empty, unbuckled, waiting, silent. Houston called again.
ISS Return 1, we're only reading 2 biometrics. Confirm third crew member. Lisa stared at the empty harness. She whispered,
He's gone. Morgan bowed his head. He stayed. He actually stayed. Lisa lifted her visor, wiping her eyes. He's trapped in 1947. Trapped so we could come back. Houston repeated.
ISS Return 1, do you confirm third crew member is non-responsive? Please advise. Lisa steadied her breathing.
Houston, Alex Hale is not with us. Morgan squeezed her shoulder. Lisa continued. It's just the two of us. Requesting immediate medical landing protocol. Houston responded instantly.
Copy. Initiating recovery sequence. Hang tight, we're bringing you home. The capsule lurched. Real gravity pulling them again. Real atmosphere burning around them. Real re-entry rattling their bones. But the distortion, the artifact, the blue vortex, all of it was fading. Aftermath, landing site.
The capsule touched down smoothly this time. Not in the desert outside Roswell, but in their designated landing zone. Nevada Test Range, 2026. Recovery crews rushed in. Medics unlatched the hatch. Lisa climbed out shakily. Morgan followed, limping but alive. The sunlight felt wrong, too real, too calm. Lisa turned toward the horizon.
Alex should be here, Morgan whispered. He saved us. He saved the timeline. She nodded, tears in her eyes. And no one will ever know the first sign something is off.
As medics escorted them to the evac helicopter, something snagged Morgan's attention. A soldier's patch. Not the usual USAF insignia. Something else. A stylized blue spiral. Like a wave twisting in on itself. He frowned.
What unit is that? The soldier blinked.
Sir, it's the Temporal Observation Task Force patch. You two are the reason we exist. Lieza froze.
What did you say? The soldier smiled politely.
Your mission, the Hale distortion. Everyone knows the story of how Commander Alex Hale disappeared during the first recorded temporal event. It shaped modern physics. Your heroes. Morgan felt his stomach twist into ice. Lisa turned slowly toward him, face pale behind her visor.
Morgan, the timeline didn't go back to normal. He nodded shakily. It changed. Alex changed it. Lisa stared at the desert horizon. He didn't erase the event. He became the event. Morgan swallowed hard, a mixture of awe and grief tightening his throat. He's still in 1947, and the world remembers what he did. The rotors started spinning again. The medic ushered them in, and as the helicopter lifted into a sky that belonged to a subtly different world, Morgan whispered the truth neither wanted to speak. Alex Hale isn't a missing astronaut anymore. He's a historical figure.
A fixed point, an anchor in time. A man who saved the future by being erased from it. And the world they returned to was not quite the one they left. Chapter 14, The World That Remembers Him. The helicopter sliced through the Nevada sky, its rotors thumping a heavy rhythm that vibrated through Lieza's chest. Morgan sat opposite her on the bench, helmet off, face pale and hollow. Neither spoke for several minutes, the hum of the engines filling the silence where Alex's voice should have been. Below them, the desert stretched out in all directions, a vast beige sea untouched by time. And yet, everything else was touched, changed. Lieza stared at the soldier across from her, the one proudly wearing the spiral patch.
Explain it to us, please. Start from the beginning. The soldier, a corporal barely in his 20s, nodded with a mix of respect and confusion. He seemed to assume they already knew most of the answers.
Well, the Hale distortion isn't exactly classified anymore. It's the foundation of temporal research. The reason the TAPT exists, Morgan swallowed.
TAPD? The soldier blinked.
Temporal Anomaly Prevention Division. You know, the department your commander predicted we'd need. Lieza stiffened.
Alex predicted. The corporal then frowned at both of them, finally realizing how off their reactions were.
Ma'am, are you feeling all right? All cadets study your crew. Everyone knows the story of how Commander Hale disappeared in 1947 and initiated first contact with the artifact. Lieza felt like she'd been struck. Morgan leaned forward, voice cracking.
Wait, what? First contact? He talked to the artifact? The corporal hesitated, confused.
I thought you already knew all this. You lived through it. Lieza lifted a trembling hand.
We lived through something else. A different version, a different timeline, Morgan added. Can you tell us what this version says? The corporal nodded slowly, choosing his words with care.
Well, history says Commander Alex Hale vanished during a classified test in 2026. Your capsule malfunctioned. The others survived the re-entry. But Hale, he slipped out of measurable space-time, appeared in 1947 Roswell, where he made contact with a temporal entity and prevented a military cover-up that would have derailed technological progress. Lieza shut her eyes. Morgan whispered.
They made him a goddamn hero, the corporal continued.
He's considered the pioneer of time physics, the first recorded temporal traveler. People still visit the Hale Memorial in Roswell. Lieza's breath caught.
A memorial? Morgan buried his face in his hands.
Alex Hale wasn't simply lost. History had written him in stone. Every choice he made in 1947, every risk, had become the bedrock of this altered future. And now Lieza and Morgan were stepping back into a world that idolized a man who had been beside them just minutes ago. Medical quarantine. Hours later, they were escorted into a high-security medical facility. White walls, bright lights, a faint hum of machines that looked far beyond contemporary tech. Doctors and technicians in crisp uniforms lined up, staring at them like living artifacts. Lieza sat on the examination table, while a scanner, flat, disc-shaped, silent, hovered over her shoulder. No tissue damage. Suit deflected a ballistic graze. Your armor type isn't in our catalog. We'd like to take a sample. Lieza pulled her arm away sharply.
No, the doctor blinked.
We just want to, Morgan snapped.
She said no. The doctor stepped back, startled.
People weren't used to telling Lieza or Morgan what to do. They were historical figures here. Heroes, witnesses to an event no other human survived. It made their grief feel even more unbearable. A senior officer entered, a woman with silver hair and a uniform full of insignia Morgan didn't recognize.
I'm General Yara Dalton, current director of the TAPD. I'd like to speak with you both privately. Lieza nodded, Morgan didn't, but he followed anyway. The truth according to this timeline. The general led them into a sealed glass briefing room. Desert sun poured through the windows. On the table lay a single tablet-like device labeled with a spiral insignia. Dalton sat. "I won't insult you with Smalltalk. You look disoriented, traumatized, and based on your reactions during extraction, you are not from this version of events." Lisa's eyes widened.
You know about timeline divergence? Dalton nodded.
"We've been monitoring minor deviations since the Hale event. We understand enough to recognize temporal displacement shock." Pause. "And you two are showing clear symptoms." Morgan leaned forward.
Then you know Alex Hale didn't have to be lost. He didn't have to die in 1947. Dalton folded her hands.
"You didn't die." Lisa's breath hitched.
What? Dalton tapped the tablet. A holographic display flickered up. Blue spirals rotating around a series of records. Hale, Alexander, Grant status. MIA, presumed non-local. Last confirmed activity, July 1947. Location, Roswell Army Airfield. Classified. Morgan blinked. Mia? Presumed non-local? What does that even... Dalton gestured to the rotating hologram of the artifact.
"Commander Hale left measurable reality. That doesn't mean he died. It means he moved outside linear time." Lisa's voice cracked.
You saying he could still be there? Somewhere? Dalton nodded.
"We have reason to believe Alex Hale continues to act as a temporal anchor, a stabilizing presence across multiple eras, a guardian in a sense." Morgan stared.
He's alive? Dalton met his eyes.
"Alive isn't the right word. Active is." Silence suffocated the room. Liza wiped her eyes.
Can we bring him back? Dalton inhaled slowly.
"No, not with our present understanding. His sacrifice is the foundation of the timeline we stand in now." Morgan slammed his fist into the table.
He deserves better than being lost in some fucking time void. Dalton didn't flinch.
"He is our history. He is the reason humans understand time physics. He is the reason we have temporal detection technology. He is the reason wars were prevented. Your commander made the world safer." Lisa whispered.
He saved us. And he saved everyone else. Dalton nodded.
"Yes, and history remembers him exactly that way." A glimpse of his legacy. Dalton slid the tablet across the table. On it was a headline. "Roswell commemorates 79th anniversary of the Hale encounter. Annual ceremony honors the first human temporal interaction." Below it, a photo of a statue. Alex Hale, standing tall, helmet under one arm, hand raised as if reaching toward the sky. Lisa's hand shook as she touched the image. Morgan swallowed hard.
They made him a legend, Dalton spoke gently.
"They made him the foundation of modern physics." A long silence settled. Finally, Lisa whispered.
Can we visit the memorial? Dalton nodded.
"It would be an honor." Morgan looked out the window, voice trembling.
We owe him that much, Lisa nodded.
The founder of their altered future was waiting, immortalized in a world that had evolved because of him. They'd lost Alex Hale, but the world hadn't. Chapter 15, The Man Who Became Time. The government transport rolled slowly along an empty stretch of New Mexico road. The sun hung low, orange, heavy, painting long shadows across the scrubland. Morgan sat in the back seat, staring out the window as mirages shimmered across the horizon. Lisa sat beside him, fingers laced tightly in her lap, helmet resting at her feet. General Dalton drove. It wasn't her job. She had aides for that. But for this sacred pilgrimage, she insisted. Dalton spoke softly, without turning her head. "The site isn't open to the public without clearance. You'll have it, of course. You're the surviving members of the Hale mission." Morgan flinched at the phrasing. Liza exhaled shakily.
When did they start calling it that? Dalton offered a sad smile.
"Roughly 40 years ago, after the declassification wave, after they built the memorial." Morgan stared through the tinted window.
Feels wrong. Like he died. He didn't die, Dalton whispered.
"He transcended." Lisa looked down at her hands, still shaking slightly, her voice small.
Transcended. That's just a beautiful way to say gone. Dalton didn't argue, Arrival at the memorial site. They stepped out onto a dusty plateau ringed with low rock formations. Wind swept through the sparse grass, carrying the faint smell of desert rain. Ahead of them stood a steel archway with a plaque, Hale Memorial Grounds, in honor of Commander Alexander G. Hale, 1947. Temporal anchor, Morgan whispered. They even got the date wrong. Dalton stepped beside him.
In this timeline, Alex never returned to 2026. For the world, his story ends here. Lisa clenched her jaw and walked beneath the arch. Beyond it stretched a circular plaza of smooth white stone, carved with swirling patterns meant to mirror the artifact's harmonic geometry. At the center stood the statue.
Alex Hale, immortalized in bronze and steel. Full suit, helmet tucked under one arm. Free hand reaching not upward, but forward, as if reaching out of time. Morgan's throat tightened so hard it hurt. Lisa stepped closer, her boots echoing softly on the stone.
He looks older, stronger, like someone who lived a full life. Dalton nodded.
Artists use composites from interviews, journals, recovered recordings, most of which don't exist anymore in the baseline you remember. The world knows him deeply, Morgan frowned.
Interviews? He gave interviews? Dalton hesitated, then said,
In this timeline, yes. Not often, not publicly, but across the years he interacted with people, guided research, nudged events, never staying long, always reappearing where time was weakest. Lisa turned sharply.
But that means he wasn't stuck in 1947. Dalton shook her head.
Not stuck, bound, traveling parallel to history, sometimes intersecting with it. Morgan's eyes widened.
Are you saying he might still be out there somewhere? Dalton inhaled deeply.
No, he hasn't been sighted in decades. Not since the Hale flare in 1988, Lisa whispered.
What was the Hale flare? Dalton gestured toward the horizon. The sky still remembers.
They followed her gaze. At the edge of the desert, rising above the foothills, shimmered a faint aurora-like glow. Blue, green, violet, rippling where no aurora should exist. Morgan squinted.
What the hell is that? Dalton folded her arms.
A spatial afterburn, the residue of a temporal slick. It first appeared in 1988 and has never fully dissipated. We call it the Hale flare. Liesa stepped toward the shimmering curtain.
It's beautiful, like a wound in the sky. Dalton's voice softened.
That's exactly what it is. The moment your commander made his last recorded transition. Morgan gulped.
You think he died there? Dalton shook her head slowly.
No one knows. Temporal energy doesn't behave like death. Sometimes it's erasure. Sometimes it's displacement. Sometimes it's evolution, Lisa whispered.
Or sacrifice. Dalton nodded.
That too. A voice on the wind. A soft vibration rolled through the plateau. Lisa froze. Morgan turned. Dalton raised her head. The air shimmered faintly, just once, like heat waves, then stopped. Lisa whispered.
Did you hear that? Morgan swallowed hard. Sounded like a hum. Dalton exhaled slowly.
We detect minor fluctuations here every year, around this time. Perhaps it's nothing, or perhaps... She didn't finish the sentence. They all knew what she wasn't saying. Perhaps he's still touching the timeline. Still the anchor, still watching. Liza stepped forward until she stood at the base of the statue. She pressed her palm against the cold metal of Alex's outstretched hand. Her voice shook.
Thank you for everything. For saving us, for saving the future. Morgan joined her. He placed his hand on the statue's shoulder and bowed his head. Miss you, brother. Wish we could have brought you home. The desert wind answered. Soft, warm, almost human. A final message. The wind shifted again, this time with a faint harmonic resonance. Lisa looked up sharply. Morgan stepped back, startled. Dalton's eyes widened. A glimmer of blue light rippled across the engraved patterns on the stone floor. Just once, then faded. Lisa whispered. Then he said goodbye. Morgan wiped his eyes. Yeah, He fucking did. Dalton placed her hand over her heart.
We believe the anchor never truly leaves. He may not exist in our time, but the timeline carries his signature, Lisa whispered.
And we carry his memory, Morgan nodded.
The sun dipped lower, turning the statue to silhouette. The hail flare shimmered faintly on the horizon, a wound, a beacon, a monument of its own. Alex Hale had saved them, saved the world, shaped a future he'd never walk through. But in this altered timeline, he would never be forgotten. Epilogue, the Chronicle of the Anchor. Night fell over Roswell with that peculiar desert stillness, vast, empty, echoing. Stars glittered above like fragments of broken time. The Hale Memorial stood draped in moonlight, its bronze surface casting long shadows across the plaza. Lieza and Morgan sat on the stone steps beneath the statue, wrapped in blankets the tapped PD had provided. They weren't ready to leave. Couldn't leave. Not yet. Morgan stared up at the frozen likeness of his commander.
Feels wrong to walk away. Feels like if I turn my back, he'll vanish again. Lisa shook her head softly. He's not vanishing. Not here. A soft harmonic pulse rose from the ground, barely audible, like the world humming to itself. Lieza looked down. There it is again, Morgan exhaled. You think that's him? Lisa's voice trembled. I think it's the echo he left behind. Anchors create resonance. Maybe he's still threaded through the timeline, in small ways. Morgan leaned back, staring up at the sky.
Above them, the hail flare shimmered faintly, an auroral scar that never healed. A reminder of the moment Alex Hale stepped outside time. A moment that rewrote history. A moment that tore two astronauts from their friend and gave a fractured world the science that saved it. A visit from the past. General Dalton approached quietly, hands behind her back.
You two have visitors. Lisa wiped her face.
Visitors? Who even knows where? She stopped. Two figures stepped into the moonlit plaza. A woman in her 50s, a man in his 60s, both wearing civilian clothes, both holding photographs. Lieza's breath caught. The woman spoke gently.
My father knew Alex Hale. Said he saved his life back in '52 during a mine collapse. Told us Alex was a ghost in a suit who appeared out of nowhere and vanished before anyone could thank him. The older man nodded.
My uncle swore he saw Alex Hale fix a train derailment in '61. Said he moved like he knew what was going to happen before it did. Morgan blinked hard.
He kept helping people? The woman smiled sadly.
He never stopped. Not until the day of the hail flare. Lieza's eyes glistened.
So the stories, the sightings, they were real. Dalton nodded.
We verified dozens of them. Alex Hale became a guardian of sorts, not tied to 1 year, but moving between weak points in the timeline, correcting micro-disruptions. Morgan whispered.
It became part of time. Dalton whispered back.
It was time. A final gift. The woman stepped forward, offering a small, weathered notebook. This was found in a safety deposit box my father left behind. We always wondered who it belonged to. Lisa accepted it with trembling hands. The cover bore 3 faded letters, A-H. Her breath caught. Morgan leaned in.
Holy shit! Inside the front cover, written in Alex's unmistakable handwriting. If this reaches the right hands, then the loop held, and you made it home. Lieza gasped softly, tears brimming. Morgan whispered, Alex, you son of a bitch. Dalton stepped closer, kneeling beside them.
Turn the page. Lisa did, and found a simple, powerful message. Don't look for me. You'll only find echoes. Live your lives. The future needs you more than the past needs me. A single tear fell onto the page. Lisa pressed her forehead against the notebook. Morgan put an arm around her shoulders, voice cracking.
He knew we'd come here. He knew we'd hurt, and he still told us to move on. Dalton placed a hand over Lieza's and Morgan's.
Alex Hale saved the world, but you two carry it forward. One last signal. As the moon rose higher, a faint shimmer rippled across the statue's surface. Lieza lifted her head. Morgan stood, Dalton watched in reverent silence. A single streak of blue light arced across the night sky, swift, silent, beautiful, like the tail of a comet, Lieza whispered.
That wasn't a meteor. Morgan nodded. That was him. Dalton looked up, eyes shining.
The anchor sang farewell. The shimmer faded. The desert quiet returned. Liza clutched the notebook to her chest. Morgan placed a hand on the statue.
And for a moment, a fleeting, perfect moment, they felt their friend standing beside them again. Not lost, not dead, just elsewhere, holding the universe together. Final line. And in the silent New Mexico night, beneath the hail flare's eternal glow, two astronauts finally whispered goodbye, knowing the man they loved had become the guardian of time itself. End. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my listening library.